Hello, everyone. It is so exciting to welcome you back to Spotlight. I see everybody is joining in right now. It's so great to see all of you. 100 and counting. So great to see all of you guys. Fantastic. Go ahead and write in the chat where you're from. Hi, Andrew from Malta. So great to see you with us again. You can go ahead and introduce yourself, say where you're from. We have a really, really international group with us here today, not just Europeans. We also have some friends from Canada as well, and the United States. So quite an international group today joining us for Spotlight. For those of you who might not know me yet, my name is Hailey. Hi. Nice to see you here again, joining in. Hopefully this isn't your first time, but if it is your first time joining us, welcome. We do have translation available for you guys in some languages today. We have translation for Spanish, Italian, and Polish. So if you're looking for those languages, you can navigate down to the bottom of your screen, and you'll be able to listen to all of our great speakers today in those three languages. I already introduced myself a little bit. My name is Hailey. I'm based here in Vienna in our Viennese office, and I work for Remax Europe as a part of the Business Development and Trainings Department. I have been the host for Remax Spotlight for the past 4 sessions. We started this quarterly training show in order to showcase top strategies and focus in on different topics that are relevant for you guys as real estate agents and broker owners to help you succeed in today's market. So taking a look back at all of the Spotlight sessions that we have hosted so far, we've covered topics such as technology and innovation. We learned about the impact that customer experience can have on your business if you focus on this very important topic. And we also most recently focused in on social media and learned a bit about how Instagram can help you grow your business as well. So we've covered a huge range of topics since we got started with Spotlight last December, and we've had tons of top performers from our network here in Europe and also Canada as well. And it is my pleasure to be hosting the show again. And we have some really great speakers lined up for you today, top performers from our network, and a special guest all the way from Canada. It's very early in the morning for her, so thank you in advance, Jane, for waking up and joining us. But before we get to the main event, we have some top performers that I asked to share their top strategies from 2021 with all of you, so that way you can learn what worked for them, and then consider it in terms of, planning ahead for 2022. And maybe you can implement some of these ideas in your 2022 business plan as well. So that's what we're going to be covering today in Spotlight, taking a look back, reflecting on what worked well in 2021, and seeing what we can do to take those ideas forward into 2022. And with that, I would like to introduce our very first top performer, coming all the way from Scotland, Andy Henderson. He is a rising star in Remax Scotland. He's only been an agent and with the network for a little over a year, but he's already a 43rd agent in Remax in Europe for a number of transactions, which is a crazy accomplishment. Hats off to you, Andy, and we are so excited to have you with us today, joining us for Remax Spotlight. Welcome.
Excited to be here.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I was really looking forward to having a conversation with you. My colleague Marion told me a little bit about your background and, the success that you've had. You're one of our Remax ambassadors. And I was really curious to know you have had an incredible start to your career as a real estate agent in one of the most challenging markets that we've seen historically, in recent times. So I wanted to hear from you a little bit firsthand, What strategies can you really identify that helped you achieve your success to become, top 47 in all of Remax in Europe, number of transactions in one of the most challenging markets? We know low inventory is a challenge and getting new listings is also a challenge. How did you do it?
I think the first thing that I focused on, I didn't get right into try and generate a load of leads, because I think it's important to learn your service and learn where your service kind of beats anyone else's as well. Learn your unique selling points and things like that. So the first thing that I focused on when I first started was learning all about my service, learning about my competition, learning where I'm better than my competition. I kind of put in a script together that beats any of my competition as well, so that when I did start to generate leads, I was going to convert more of them. Because at the end of the day, you could generate 10 leads. If you aren't any good at selling your service, or you're not good at speaking in front of your customer, then you're not going to generate any of those leads. So for me, the first thing I focused on was learning my service, learning where it was better than everyone else's, and then I focused on lead generation, so that when I did get the leads, I was able to convert a lot more of them into listings and business.
When you say learning your service, are you talking about your value proposition so you can really clearly communicate what value you provide?
So yeah, my unique selling points, personal service from start to finish, that's the biggest one. And really just making sure that I was able to talk a lot about them, so that if I've ever got any objections in any valuations or listing appointments, that I was able to handle them, and I could make sure that I was able to convert a lot more business, because I didn't want to just go and start generating leads and then get in front of my customer and not being good at selling my service, because then you don't convert the leads into listings. Whereas the number one thing that we need to do in this business is convert the leads into listings. So yeah, that's really the main thing I focused on. After I did start to generate leads, I started focusing on the customer and making sure that the customer was the priority rather than the transaction. So I think that's the main thing after you start generating the leads.
How did you focus on working well with customers specifically? We know that customer experience is really critical, but what sort of stands out to you in terms of how you went above and beyond to provide excellent service for your clients?
I think for a start, being there for them whenever they need you. So I don't switch my phone off. If somebody phones me at 10 o'clock in the evening, I'll answer the phone to them. I think it's important that in the job that we do, it's such a stressful time for an individual. So it's important that we are there for them all the time. So I think, yeah, just going above and beyond, like you said, making sure that you're available all the time, kind of holding their hand through the process, rather than just being a number. Because I mean, that's what they are going to be to anyone else that goes into their property. So yeah, I think just making sure you're there for them all the time, being available all the time, and yeah, that's
It kind of reminds me of being a doctor on call at the emergency room. It's like, do you have a real estate emergency? I'm here for you.
I think that's where our service can stand out from anyone else's. So that's really what I push: the personal service and being available all the time, 7 days a week, out of hours. And yeah, I think that it's worked for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone, but these kind of things work for me. So I think.
Yeah. No, but I think, there's no knowing for sure if it works for you, if it won't work for other people. But I think generally speaking, fast follow-up and being available, being responsive is something that consumers, no matter the market, no matter the industry, to be honest, that's what they're looking for. That's what they expect. So if you provide that kind of service on a continuous basis, I think it's going to come back and get more repeat and referrals, which it seems like worked for you because you have such a high number of transactions.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's mainly referrals that I get now, and it's purely because I focused on the customer instead of the transaction.
Right. So we know for new agents, getting the first listing can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. How did you get your very first listing? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So after I'd learned all about my service, I started posting a lot of videos on social media. So my whole lead generation strategy is social media, purely because you can target the most amount of people in the shortest amount of time. So I really focused on building my personal brand on social media, and then doing things like videos to make sure that people understood that I knew what I was talking about, because you need to promote yourself as the local expert. So I would do videos about ways to add value to your home, videos about the city that I live in, just to show people that I knew what I was talking about. The nice thing about videos as well is once you get into the house and you're trying to sell your service to them, they trust you. Their guards down because they've seen your face, they've heard you talk. It's unbelievable the amount of times I've gone into somebody's house and they've said, I feel like I know you already because I've watched your videos online. So that makes a massive difference in terms of converting the leads as well.
Yeah, and I think I'm really happy you mentioned that, because I think that that's still an opportunity that a lot of our agents can still take advantage of. I mean, getting out there, putting yourself in front of people on social media, making videos. It can be a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but I hear again and again, and also now from you, that it really makes a huge difference. As a last question before we wrap things up, do you have any one piece of advice for agents, new agents in particular, since I think you're still relatively new, even though you've had a lot of success? What should they be focusing on in this really challenging market that we have? What's the one thing?
I think that the main thing is to stay consistent. I think a lot of new agents start, and there's obviously so many different ways that you can generate leads. There's so many different ways that you can gain new business. I think it's important to focus on one and really be consistent at it, because if you start to focus on everything, you're kind of a bit all over the place. Whereas you focus on one and you really make sure that you're at it all the time, the leads will come, and once you can sell your service, you're going to convert those leads into business.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Andy, for joining us today on Spotlight. It's been really great to learn about your top strategies. And I think for all of you guys out there, what he said, it works. It's not just Andy, even though he's being modest. Maybe it doesn't work for you guys. It will work. I've heard it again and again, and you'll probably hear it again from Jane and from Sylwia and Julian. I mean, everybody on this call, if you follow up fast, you're responsive, you're consistent, you show up consistently on social media and get in front of people by making videos, it works. So if there's one thing that you guys haven't started doing yet in terms of getting out there on social media, making videos, and making sure you follow up fast, those are definitely things that I would consider for my 2022 business strategy moving forward. Thank you so much, Andy, for joining us today. Amazing. So we're moving right along to our very next speaker today. And we're going to be hearing from someone from Remax Romania, actually not an agent. He was long-standing trainer for Remax Romania, and now he's the regional director. And I asked Julian to join us today for a very specific reason, because we're going to be hearing a lot of strategies today in terms of things that you can do and try out in your business in 2022. But as I know, hearing the strategies and learning about them is not always enough to take action. Sometimes you need a little bit of extra information to really take this theory and put it into practice. So I invited Julian to join us today in Spotlight to give us some tips on how to take all of these ideas that you're hearing today and work them into your business plan for 2022. Julian, it's really nice to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Hailey. I'm glad to be here. Hi, everyone. I have a very short presentation because, it's a very short session, Spotlight, but I'll try, wait a minute, I'll try to be very quick. Now you should see my screen. It's everything okay, Hailey?
Yep, everything looks great. We see the balloon.
Thank you for your invitation. Yeah, this is a Remax logo. And a few words about me. I'm Iulian Berghain. I'm the CEO of Remax Romania. I used to be head of training for this company, and right now I manage and direct the whole region here in Romania. As it is written in my t-shirt, I know for sure the Remax is the best. So we started in 2014, and we aim to become #1 real estate brand in Romania. Just for you to understand a little bit about us, and I'll get to the point in a few seconds. And as the beginning, we understand that we have to train a lot, we have to learn a lot, and we hire all the best trainers that we know. Here is Tom Ferry with Barish from Turkey, Paul Vincenti from Malta, and also Giliran from Israel. A lot of trainings that we do, and from the beginning we understood from these guys that we have to set precise goals for our what is our main objective, a strategy to follow in order to get there, also a business plan after, and activities to put in action, and of course focus on services for our clients. So after we put in place all these things in a few years, since 2018, we are the most powerful brand in real estate right now in Romania. We are recognized from a lot of people in the industry. Here is our first prize. It is written the strongest brand in Romania in real estate, and here are 3 others prizes that we get here in Romania after. But it was once in Romania when I stay and drink Coke Zero with this guy, which is Giliran from Israel. We learn a lot from him and understand, after we discuss a lot on this subject, that is not all about figures, numbers, and setting goals. You know, I have a mathematical degrees and university degree, and I understand exactly how important are figures in business. But I feel like it's not about figures. It's about dreams, and it's about big dreams. And what I encourage you is to understand this and to dream big. Why it's important for us to understand that we have to start with the dreams? It's because we know all we are humans, and we are emotional. We are also rational people, rational, how to say, persons. But when it comes to what motivates us, what drives us, and take us to the next level, I feel like it's the emotion that we put in our action. So I feel like we don't get motivated by the money. I get a lot of young agents who start with us, and they all say, I want to have money. And I say, why? Because why I feel like is the most important thing that you should think about before on how. Because the most frequent question as a trainer that you get is how I do that, how will do that, how is that, and so on. And I always say, don't focus on how, focus on why, and then you get to how. Because what is your motivation? And motivation should not be money, but rather should be, what do you want to do with them? So after we understood this, we try to train our agents and try to train our brokers to understand exactly that we need to change the perspectives. So we don't talk very much about figures, but we start with the dreams they have. Also the brokers, also the agents in each office. So I feel like if you have to take something from my presentation, is like this: start with your dreams, not on your financial goals. Okay, the financial goals will come after you understand what your dreams and what do you want to do. So that motivates us to run a campaign all over the network in order for the agents to do dream charts. And it was an exceptional, how do you call it? It was an exceptional campaign because we had the brokers that embrace immediately an agent, and they start doing these kind of pictures with all of what they want to achieve in the next year. So when they put it on their office desk and see it every day, and also the others to see it. For instance, here you have an agent who wants to improve his teeth, or to quit smoking, or to go to Disneyland. Here is another example, and here is another example. Here is written plastic surgeon. So yeah, that's a girl for sure. But okay, but in other things, what I'm trying to say, it's start with your dream chart, and you will find your financial goals. Okay, and when it comes to financial goals, let's say an example. Let's say that this dream chart, this is an example. This is not real, it's just an example that I found it on image Google search. But these are real, okay? These are all real. And let's say that to achieve all of this, you need to have a 60,000 gross commission income. So from that, you go to specific Excel and try to make the figures make sense for you. Okay, so this is written in Romania, but I try to explain because this I feel like you start with a dream and then you come to a strategy and then you go to the goals, which are figures, numbers, in order to understand them. So here it's what you need to make a year, 60,000 euro. Of course, we are in Romania, maybe from some countries, 60,000, it's less, I don't know, but here it's a good number for them to achieve. So in order to achieve these numbers, being in a 50-50 split, you will need to do this kind of transaction. Here we have rentals and here we have selling. So you need to have like 17 transaction of renting and another 9 transaction of selling for a year for you to get there. And of course, then it comes to conversion rate from phone to listing presentation, then from listing presentation to listing, and of course from listing to closing. And we have here the conversion rate that depends on each agent. So for this example, we put 20%, 30%, and 30%. So if this model, and we take this model, print it, and put it on the office desk or on the desktop or whatever he wants in order to stay focused and understand exactly what they should do. And from these numbers, we go to, basically daily activities. They have to call, they have to have listing presentation, they have to have showings and so on. And this is very strict planification, but you can adapt because here is an Excel that you can change each week in order to achieve your goals. So what I feel like it's important after we discuss all this in conclusion is for you to understand that it all starts with dreams, and it's very important to never stop dreaming, okay? Because it all starts with dreams. And most important, whatever you dream, dream bigger. Okay, because we started in 2014 and we want to become #1 real estate brand in Romania. Now we are #1 in real estate in Romania. But now we aim to help every agent fulfill their dreams, not to become #1 or to get some gross commission or I don't know what kind of figures. So this was all about my presentation. Thank you very much. Have a happy holidays, and I'm glad to answer questions if if anyone wants to ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Iulian. That was amazing. I love it. If it all comes back down to anything, make sure that you dream big. I love it. So going back to I think the last part of your Excel spreadsheet, you said that's when we finally get down to the actions, right? To
Yes.
the leads and everything that someone or an agent or a broker needs to do on a daily basis. And that's where we need to insert all of the strategies that we learned today, right? So that
Yes.
way people can take the ideas that we learn, put them into their action plan, build it out, and either work forwards or work backwards, depending on if you're starting with your dream or you're starting with the actions.
So yeah, start with the dream and then put all the action. I'm sure Andy has a great presentation before me, and I'm sure that he has big dreams in order to put such a works in place, and he did an amazing job. Congratulations, Andy, and good luck,
Amazing. Thank you so much, Iulian. I would love to move on to our third guest speaker today. She is also a trainer for Remax Poland, Sylwia, and an agent as well. And I am so excited to welcome her to Spotlight. I was really looking forward to your segment. We had a conversation a few weeks ago in preparation for this call, and I asked you a little bit about your strategies that you used in 2021 that helped you grow your business. And actually, you told me that focusing on your mindset and how you show up for yourself and your clients has made a really big difference in your business growth in 2021. And I was hoping that you could talk a little bit about that and share what you meant by that with the group today.
Thank you. For the beginning, thank you for the invitation. My heart is just jumping. So I hope that you will understand everything what I would like to share with you today. Actually, Iulian makes some introduction to my subject for today's spotlight. And that's good because I was thinking that maybe it's going to be some feminine kind because it's going to be about mindset and, dreaming as well and pink aura and so on and, superhero model. So I'm so glad that he made that already. Yes, actually, this was the mindset was my main strategy this year and last year actually for building my business and life actually, because here so in our heads everything is actually this is the beginning of everything. And everything would stop us with achieving the goals or anything actually, even making decision, because decision is the hardest way to make. The right decision, the first decision, the decision to be brave to change our life. And you said I'm trainer, and in the beginning it's hardest for them actually, for the new agents, because they are thinking that they have no experience, no knowledge, and they are afraid that they can manage, actually. They cannot manage the market, the clients, and they are making one step back because they're waiting for something, good. And they don't know, actually, people don't know that they have the bravest is inside them, in their hearts. And decision, I'm always saying, if you already made decision to change your life, you have made this really big step to go to your another life.
Yeah.
So keep constantly decision on, not turning back. And I think that we don't have control for all of our lives. But we are starting thinking that we need to be good for everyone, all around us. And actually that hits me a few years ago, that I don't have to be good for everyone, because everybody needs to be pleased by me. And actually I think that I lost myself to being nice for everyone, and be a good mother, be a good wife, be a good woman, be a good agent, be a good trainer, be good, everyone. And that was the first thing, that I don't need to be good for everyone. And it was like a brilliant thing, it was, maybe that's why, because I was so tired to be nice for everyone. And I was always thinking that I'm in the middle of the world. Till the day when that hit me, that it wasn't true, that everybody outside are in the middle of the world. I'm, just in the back to make them pleased. And this year was the first year when I thought, no, it's going to be new me, but really new me. I am going to focus on myself. I am going to be happy. My dreams are most important dreams for myself. And if someone would like to be part of those dreams, great. But if not, you can take another way. It's your choice. It's your decision. And that was like a blink. Everything like a, it was actually, it was like a game changer.
Yeah.
Everything just changed. I can tell you that my business strategy this year makes my transactions like over 150 bigger than last year.
Wow.
Just because I said to myself, you are going everything just for you.
Yeah.
just for you. If you are happy, everybody will be happy. If you're a happy mother, your kids will be happy. If you're happy with your work, with your promotion, with your, I don't know, kind of working, clients will be happy. And they are. I'm happy. Everything is fine. You know, I needed to practice that because in the head, in the back of the head, you always had, I always had some, thoughts like, maybe it's selfish. Maybe you should be nicer for people. Maybe you should think about the people, and maybe you should not think so much about yourself. But it was just, a few seconds, and then me again. Health is selfish. It's really good way to take. Iulian said, big dream. If you're not thinking about your dreams, you'd like to make dreams and other people, you cannot do it with your dreams. You need to have here the idea, and here, self-love, actually. This is the new one. Self-love, good thinking about yourself, hugging yourself, touching yourself like you're a nice girl. This is the beginning of everything. The world give you the same what you are giving yourself. So I decided to love myself first, and watching what is going to be going on around me, and it's working.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I think it's like the way that you treat yourself is a reflection and a mirror to the way that you show up for other people in your life, your family, your community, and your clients. It's like you said, if I'm happy with the type of service that I'm giving, my clients will be happy with the type of service that they're getting. So it only ends up being a win-win for everybody. And I know that we're a little over time, but I do have to ask you about your t-shirt. Because we were talking a little bit about the idea of being a superhero and how that has sort of helped you in your mindset in order to stay on track, really focus on your goals. When you lose motivation, going back to this idea of being a superhero. Can you just share one last thing on your shirt and why you decided to wear that today for our interview?
Because this is my professional t-shirt. I have another one. It's there is written you can do it.
You can do it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can do it. Why? Because if you're working like an agent, there's a really big responsibility of sometimes even lives of our clients. And new agents are really scared about this, because they are, really thinking that they cannot manage it. So always as well, I'm always saying that if you are going with tough situations in your life, and you can manage, it's your emotions, again, it's your decisions. And you are a superhero for your kids, for your wives, for your husbands, for your families. So you are as well a superhero for your clients, because they are waiting for that. They need your support. They need your knowledge, your experience, because they have their emotions. And when you are watching their situation, like, with step back, no emotions, you have more conclusions for them, more maybe some even good word sometimes is enough for them to make their lives better. And then you're a superhero, actually, because there's no opinion of their lives. There's just, maybe sometimes just cold thinking about how to make the right decision with their situation. They really need that. So you're a superhero.
That's amazing.
With the all responsibility of this meaning of the world, you are superhero.
Yeah. So you can be a superhero and be the type of superhero that you want to be for yourself and also for your family and your community and your clients. I love it. I think that also plays into the mindset. You know, it's like, I don't know if you've heard of this, or if you guys watching at home, if you've heard of this, like the superhero pose, like right before, or the strong pose, like right before you have to go to a listing presentation or get up on stage. It's like, there's something about feeling strong and being able to have the confidence to actually achieve your goals. So thank you so much, Sylwia. The time has flown by and I don't want to eat up any more of Jane's time, but thank you so much for joining us and sharing your strategy for 2021. I hope that all of you guys can find the superhero within for 2022. And with that, I would like to introduce our special guest for today, Jane Johnston. She is joining us. Get this, guys, all the way from Western Canada. So she woke up, at what time? Like 5 a.m. to join us today?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh.
I probably woke up about 20 times.
You are amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today on Spotlight and sharing your top strategies for 2021. I don't want to take up any more of your time except to say that you are a top performing agent in your region in Canada, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your top strategies for 2021. Awesome.
Okay.
The video's playing. Perfect.
I've got lots of tips and tricks for you today. My name is Jane Johnston. I'm going to be talking about creating community and attracting your ideal client. I've been a realtor since 2006. But first of all, I want you to just go to your social media and just post a picture. You could take a screenshot of sardines. Yes or no? The reason why we want to do that is because we want to create a reaction with people. It's funny, yesterday I did this on my social media. Sardines are not such a big thing here. But when I did post about Brussels sprouts, I got a lot of response. So I got 138 responses, and we're going to talk about why we want to do that. So just go and post something, just a question, Brussels sprouts, sardines.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. I think I'm number 1 in my office, and I'm number 2 in the city of Victoria, and I'm number 33 in RE/MAX of Western Canada. I have this year achieved the Diamond Award, which is a big number. And the purpose of achieving the Diamond Award is so that I can give back to people. So again, we're going to talk about creating community. One of the main things that we want to focus on whenever we're doing any social media campaign is to make it a win-win-win strategy. So a win for your community, a win for your clients, and a win for yourself. So if you don't meet all those 3 criteria, just think of it as sitting on a stool. The stool is going to fall over. So I'm going to give you 10 strategies. The first one is to just focus on taking the lead in the community. One of the things I do is I work on Facebook pages. So I run my own Facebook page for a little community in Victoria, sub-community called Esquimalt. And I do that because I want to just promote this as a place to live. I actually spend a lot of time there, although I don't actually physically live there. Where I live is in this place in the bottom right, Albert Head, Olympic View, and I've created an emergency group because basically last year I was voluntold that they wanted somebody to promote what was going on in terms of the safety with COVID. And so I thought I can't go around and knock on doors. So I created this Facebook group, and now people post things like if we see a bear in the area and all this stuff. And it's really done a great thing of pulling people together, even though we can't physically always be together. So being present on social media and then taking the lead, starting the group yourself. It takes a bit of time, but you get a lot of satisfaction out of it. The second thing is to do podcasting. So podcasting can be really complicated, or it can be very easy. The easiest thing is to just start Facebook get a Facebook Live going and then record it and then post it on your YouTube channel. The main thing with doing a podcast is to recognize the value of others. So during COVID, what I did was I actually interviewed people in the business community. I didn't talk about real estate at all. We talked about how to cope with the change, how to give back. And one of the things we did was to talk to parents who were all of a sudden having to live with one another and maybe like full time and not having a good time. So we brought them counseling and we talked about divorce and we talked about co-parenting. We also started another podcast called He Said, She Said, They Said, which is a Monday morning market update about what's happening in real estate in Victoria. And my friend Andrew and I do it together. He's very different than me. And he's very uncomfortable doing it. And so it's a lot of fun because we get into great discussions about what's happening in real estate. And you know what? It's not professional, but the majority of people who watch it actually are other realtors because they're learning about the practice of real estate. So I'm showing up as a professional in my community. And then one thing I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now, is another podcast called Vancouver Island Time. And I store my He Said, She Said, They Said podcasts on that site. And that is about living in Victoria. It's all about lifestyle. It's not about real estate. It's about local community member, how they run their business, and then where they live. So what I do is share these with people who are moving to an area, because the people who are giving me the interview are talking about what it's like to live there, but they're not selling the area, so they don't have a vested interest. So there's a very high degree of trust there. When you're doing these podcasts, it's very important to show up as yourself. Be yourself. So these guys, the New West guys, they're in Vancouver. They talk about real estate. They're actually the people who gave me the idea, and they just sit and chat once a week about what's going on in real estate. And then the other thing they do is they go out and eat around town. So they highlight all the local food places, and they one of them used to be in TV, and so he's really good at videographing all of the food that they eat. And this is just a way to connect with the community in a way that's meaningful for you. So you can do it about anything you want. You could do it about dogs, or you could do it about parks or hikes or getting back to nature. The third thing is to participate in any activities that you like. Now, I am a big rower, so I row 5 days a week, and I do the social media for our rowing team. It's a lot of fun. Every year, I and the members of my Women's 8 team come up with different costumes for Halloween, and I just make it fun. And I do all of the social media for our speed skating team, even though I'm not speed skating right now because I have a sore knee. So, but it's all about promoting other people and having fun and getting people out in the community. And I found that this way has been a great way actually to attract business without even working it. The other thing is in your social media is just highlight other people. Don't talk about yourself. When I look at the way that people are promoting just real estate in their social media, I think, you know, you are more than just real estate. Like Sylwia was saying, you have to lead with your heart. One thing that I do is I promote other people first, and then what that does is they then promote me if they want to. That's not the outcome that I'm looking for. I'm trying to help them build their business. So this lady on the left that I interviewed, she was one of the first people to make masks. She was focused on our national television channel, CBC, and she put my interview with her on the same page as that interview with CBC. This lady in the middle makes cards that you give out at meetings that tell you heart-centered messages, and I wanted to just promote her, and she was so appreciative of that. So this is a way to build up social capital of people. This is probably the best strategy that I ever came up with, and it came out of the fact that when I was advertising for properties, I realized that the property would sell before I even got to show the house. And this happened 15 years ago. I've been doing this for a very long time. So every time I work with a client, I ask them for a testimonial. I take a picture with them. And sometimes I take a funny picture while we're actually showing property, so you can see two people in the bathtub here. Or I get them to take a picture of themselves and I ask them for a testimonial. And I can't say how powerful this is because I get phone calls from people. I put these in the newspaper, which is where nobody else advertises. And I get phone calls from people who feel like what Andy was saying. They feel like they know me because other people have expressed such comfort with working with me. When I do this, when I put the ad in the newspaper, I'm actually welcoming them to the community, but I'm welcoming them in their own words. And a lot of people feel it's a rite of passage to have their picture in the newspaper, which is kind of funny because it's old fashioned, but they feel like, okay, I'm now a part of Victoria.
It's the same.
Now, I don't
sorry to interrupt you, but it's the same like when you get married. When you get married, oftentimes you post it in the newspaper as well, even though it is a bit old fashioned.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just do what everybody else isn't doing. That's one of the secrets is be unique.
Yeah.
So last year we had a bit of difficulty because we were trying to get Santa here. I don't know how popular Santa is in Europe, but we wanted to get a picture of Santa with the kids, and Santa didn't feel comfortable. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? I really want to celebrate my clients. So actually what I did was I went to them. So I created a tour of all the properties. I asked them if they wanted to get a photo. And then we created this logo and we went around and just got pictures taken, and I'll show you the video.
So these are your past clients from the year, and you went with a photographer? You went with a photographer to get their picture taken?
Yeah, so it was funny because she was just taking the photos and I thought, you know what, I really want to take a video. I just did it with my camera of the process. And so we ended up, when my assistant and I were talking, I'm like, well, I want you to incorporate the video and then show the final picture. And I sent this out, and one of my clients wrote a big post on social media, which I showed before, of how proud she was to be a part of this campaign. So we did it this year differently. We just did a video of all the testimonials of everybody rather than going and visit, because we had more sales. So it was overwhelming. Anyway. Okay, so what I think everybody was saying is do videos. Videos are a great way to build know, like, and trust factor with people because they feel comfortable working with you. They feel like they know you. I meet clients and they're like, oh, it's so funny when you do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They know my mannerisms. They know I talk with my hands. They know my corny jokes. They feel a high level of comfort. And the thing here is to realize is that it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get the videos going. My first video I still have on YouTube, and it's really awful. And I was at a conference and the organizer said to me, hey, do you have any bad videos? And I'm like, oh yeah, I have the worst one. Well, at the conference, 1,000 people, she plays the bad video.
Oh my gosh.
But then she played the good one after. So
okay.
You're just going to find out you're going to get better and better and better. Anyway, don't stress. Okay. Number 9 is, it's very important the words you choose in how you communicate with people. So whether or not you're writing an email to someone, composing a text message, if you're describing a listing, one of the things that I do is personality science, and I talk about how to choose the right words to communicate effectively with your clients. So everybody generally, when they speak from their perspective, but we really have to learn to speak from our client's perspective. So there's the golden rule, which is treat other people the way they want to be treated. But we focus on the platinum rule, which is treat people the way they want to be treated. So important, very underutilized. Then when you show up for your clients' appointments, once you start to listen to people, really, really listen to people, then you can start to anticipate what their needs are. So I don't know if you do a long introduction with somebody and actually get their needs and wants. This is very key in making you effective and helpful in finding them the right place, because often people think they want something, but what they are responding when you're looking at properties is very different. So if you start to notice that they're a process-oriented person, you can show up with a copy of a contract. You can show up with the next steps of what's going to happen once they get an accepted offer. If they're the type of person who likes to move quickly, perhaps you want to speak more quickly, get to the point, don't go into all the detail. And then other people like Sylwia are very nurturing people. And so they want to hear about maybe your work with the community and how you reach out and touch people, what's important to you outside of real estate. And also realize that there are some people who are high knowledge that are just focused in gaining data for the sake of data. And sometimes with those clients, I say, okay, do you want to know this because you're interested, or you just want to know this because you want to know this? And when I realize that, all of a sudden they go, oh, I just want to know. I go, okay, let's go to the next house because we're done here. So you got to just kind of help people through the process to make them more effective. We have a learning opportunity about that on Thursday, which I'm going to post in the checklist, in the chat right now. And I also have the checklist for the home for the holidays if somebody wants to do it with their clients. And I'm going to post a link in the chat as well for that.
Jane, I posted your bit.ly link already. Is that what you're referring to?
No, it's like if you want to do the campaign home for the holidays.
Okay.
It's in there.
Oh, amazing. Great.
Okay. So probably the most important thing to realize is you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So look at who's going to bring you value to your life and who you're going to bring value to their lives with. And this is absolutely why you want to attend these spotlight sessions, because what you're going to do is surround yourself with people who are going to be at the next level of where you want to be. All right. So I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity today. I have a group which I have posted the link in called Value-Based Leadership, because it's all about your values and it's all about your clients' values and learning to speak their value. And I'm offering a training session for free on Thursday about values. It's at 7 p.m. Vienna time, 10 a.m. Pacific, because I don't really want to get up at 5 a.m. again. So
we really
any
appreciate
questions?
that you did. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Jane. That's a little bit, I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so you need to spend your time wisely. But I think that that's definitely true. I've noticed that in my own life. I tend to pick up on the people around me and kind of mirror what they're kind of giving off, and I mirror that back. But I guess that's kind of like what Sylwia, like what you were saying as well before, like if you have this internal confidence and drive to succeed, this positivity is going to emanate from you, and your clients are also going to be happy as well. So Anyway, Jane, yeah. So thank you so much for your time. If we have any questions for Jane, because she kind of ran through her session, there were so many tips there. I didn't mean to interrupt you before while you were playing your video. Can you talk a little bit about, because when we were talking on the phone a few weeks ago, you shared how you partnered up with your photographer, and I loved that tip. Maybe can you share that?
I paid her a day rate. So I basically, she and I drove around in the car together for about 8 hours. And then what she did was she brought a card with everybody. She gave everybody a free photo.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also offered them the opportunity if they wanted to have more photos done with her. She took more than one photo. So,
Okay.
yeah. So it actually really helped. She was new to the city, so I wanted to promote somebody who was new to Victoria so that they could be successful. Yeah.
That's like a symbiotic relationship because then she gets to meet your clients, provide them with value, and they get to know her as well. And about the logo. So when they printed it out, was your special holiday logo on the photos then?
Yeah. And so we actually created a little Facebook page called Facebook group called Home for the Holidays, hashtag Home for the Holidays. And so then I could find it on social media. So actually that brings me back to my last point. Did anybody get any responses on their social media?
Okay, well, I can share mine. I posted this story saying, taking realty teacher Remax Victoria's advice.
Yep.
And then the next one, I posted sardines, yes or no?
Yes.
And
Did
I
you
already
get
got
any response?
Let's see. I got a bunch of responses already. Let's see. I got 6 responses in 20 minutes.
I got 38 last night. I hate sardines.
I don't like them either. I'm not a huge sardine fan, but I know a lot of people like sardines.
So the reason for doing that is because you really want to generate a response from people. You're using the algorithm to work for you, so that when why you want to do that every once in a while is then you follow the 80-20 rule. So 80% you're going to be talking about yourself on social media, and 20% you talk about business. You really don't want to focus just on business. You want to be multidimensional.
Right. Or if you focus on business, you can focus on other businesses in your local area and promote them.
Exactly.
Think I get it. Amazing. Thank you so much, Jane. And yeah, I hope that everybody got the link. I'm going to also post again just now the workbook. Go make sure to follow Jane on social media. She's very active. And actually, one question I had for you. I know we're at time, but do you consider yourself very tech savvy? Because I know some people, like what you're saying, like start a podcast, start a Facebook group, they might be overwhelmed. But in terms of complicatedness, it being hard to do this, would you say that this is something that most people could be able to do, could manage?
Oh, definitely. But I would say just start off with one, then add another, then add another. Like yesterday I went on a group and I'm like, what the heck is TikTok? I'm not using TikTok. I use Instagram. What's the difference? Don't be perfect. Don't focus on perfection. Otherwise you're never going to get it done.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, no one's going to be perfect. The only thing that they can be is themselves. Going back to what Sylwia said. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jane. And to all of our other special guest speakers, Sylwia, Julian, Andy, for sticking around and for sharing your top strategies for 2021. I hope that was, for me, that was a very inspiring session. And I hope for all of you guys watching around the world that it was as inspiring for you as well. But don't just be inspired. Take these ideas and put them into action. You can already get started now, or in the very least in your 2022. business plans. It has been a pleasure hosting the final Spotlight for 2021, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Spotlight coming up. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in February, our Spotlight for 2022. Stay safe, happy holidays, everyone, and wishing you all a great start for the year ahead. Bye.